I think this would probably be the last-ditch effort for the Democrats. If this process doesn't have any grip to it, I think the Democrats are going to be forced to actually move on because it looks a little ignorant if they continue down this path.
And Steve, in terms of the market action we've seen today, also seeing yields slip, is that relating to the politics or just a little bit of market?
No, I think it's all relating to the politics. And I think if you look at the trend as of where the yields were going, while the president was speaking at the UN, you started to get that 2s, 10s were dipping back into that inversion sort of territory, heading back that way. So I think it's just a process of where the trend has been, where yields were high, they went dramatically lower, and then they spiked again, and now they're backing off just a little bit.
I think we've got Ed Mills back online, policy analyst at Raymond James.
You do.
Ed, great. Good to have you. So clearly you probably have been fielding a lot of calls from your clients. What are you telling them as far as what to expect from Pelosi this afternoon and how that could move this story forward, possibly toward impeachment proceedings?
Yeah, we expect an announcement that a formal impeachment inquiry will start. Talking to folks on Capitol Hill today, and what they've told me is that there's been a tectonic shift among kind of most Democrats, feeling that there is a need to at least start something here. From a market perspective, I think the biggest issue is that legislating is dead. There is not going to be a deal on anything that's being announced out there, be it drug pricing, infrastructure bill, immigration, the USMCA, kind of a budget deal coming down the pike. The bigger question is, if their legislation is dead, what does Trump do with China trade? Does he try to double down, win over his base like we saw at the UN today, or does he seek the mini deal? I think that's the debate in the next couple of days.
Ed, is this in part a dangerous ploy for the Democrats? If they bring it up, fail, does it embolden the president a year away from an election?
It could, and I think that's been Nancy Pelosi's hesitancy here. But what you've heard from Democrats is they went from thinking that the Mueller report was overly partisan, or the debate around this, to a galvanization that they feel that they swore a duty to defend the Constitution. And the fact that the president has omitted certain things, they at least have to start the investigation. Now, as was reported, we might get the transcript of the phone call. But are we going to get the IG's report? Is that Inspector General going to be able to give Congress what they want to give to Congress? And what we also saw with some of this reporting is that this phone call supposedly is not the only issue that this whistleblower has brought up. So are there other things besides this phone call? That's what Democrats are going to want to know. That's what keeps this a story for longer.
So for investors that are worried about prolonged uncertainty over impeachment or the fate of the president, we've sort of been here before with the Mueller report and stocks brushed it off. How seriously would you tell investors to take this one today?
Yeah, I think that's the debate here. That's one of the things that we see with the Trump presidency is something that seems like a huge deal today and that everyone here in Washington, D.C. is freaking out about. We move on from tomorrow, and the market especially moves on. I think, there's a number of different cross currents here. So I think what we see is we need to see a concern about the economy, and then the political risk in D.C. then has the impact on the market. When the economy seems to be doing well, people will discount D.C. When the economy is not doing well, people exacerbate what's going on in here in D.C. So it's the macro, then D.C. comes into play.